Hi, this movie is for reviewing what we did in class on Friday. Some of you weren't there, some of you may just want to see another view of this. I'm going to start off with number 15 from the homework that was due on Friday, and the problem was f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 8, and you were asked to graph this, finding the vertex, line of symmetry, y-intercepts, and in this case, different from the homework assignment before, also the x-intercepts. So most of you probably started off with h is a negative b over 2a and took a negative 2 over 2 times 1, which was equal to a negative 1. Next step, of course, is to find the corresponding value of y, which is k. So k is going to be what you get when you put h into the function, and you would get a negative 1 squared plus 2 times a negative 1 minus 8, which if you do the math is equal to negative 9. That means our vertex, hk, is equal to a negative 1, negative 9. We know our y-intercept is equal to c from the equation. This is c, so that's equal to a negative 8. So we can have that on our graph right now. So we have a negative 1, negative 9, put negative 9 down here, so we have a negative 1, negative 9, and we know that negative 8 is the intercept, which means our graph goes something like this. And we're not really sure what that value is, and we're not really sure what that value is. So we can find those because this is the x-axis, where y is equal to 0, the x-axis. So if we substitute in 0, for f of x or y, we get 0 equals x squared plus 2x minus 8. Now, for a lot of you, it's easy to look at that and say, okay, that factors easily. The factors of 8 are 2 and 4, and the difference is 2, so that's going to work. And because the middle term is a positive, the larger number will be positive. So that gives us 0 equal to x plus 4 times x minus 2. Therefore, using the zero product property, we know that x plus 4 is going to be equal to 0, or x minus 2 is going to be equal to 0. So we get x is equal to negative 4, and x is equal to 2. So this value is 2, and that value is negative 4. My scale may be off a little bit, but that was just a quick sketch. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. That's a problem that's easily to factor. But now what happens if we have a function where it's not easily factorable, which means we can't use factoring to solve for our zeros? So here's another example. Pen. And what if we had f of x equal to x squared minus 4x minus 7? And a quick look at that, I think you can see that it's not going to factor. The factors of 7 are 1 and 7. The difference is not 4. So we know it's not going to factor. So let's start off by finding the vertex. So h is a negative b over 2a. In this case, it's the opposite sign of negative 4 over 4 over 2 equals 2. We can substitute that into the equation and find out what k is equal to, and in this case, it's a negative 11. 4 minus 8 is a negative 4, minus 7 is a negative 11. All right, so we've already determined this doesn't factor, so let's put this into vertex form. So f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k is our vertex form. So in this case, it's f of x equal to a, which is 1, times x minus 2, quantity squared, minus 11. Okay, well now this should remind you of some of the problems that were on the worksheet, because if we set this equal to 0 in order to find the zeros of this equation, we can now solve it fairly simply. So if we add 11, we get 11 is equal to x minus 2 quantity squared. Take the square root of both sides. We then get plus or minus. Remember that. That's important. X minus 2. And if we add 2, we get x is simply equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of 11. These would be considered the exact roots because they are not rational, they're irrational because of the radical, and to write the exact roots, we'd write them using the radical sign. Our approximate roots would be, let's see, if we do this out, x is approximately 5.3 and a negative 1.3. So if we were going to graph this, we would have the vertex at 2, negative 11. We'll make that a little bit higher. So there's negative 11. We know that negative 7 is our y-intercept. So here's our vertex at 2, negative 11. And we know that our x-intercepts are at a negative 1.3 and 5.3. So we can complete the graph of that. We should have some symmetry. Not too bad, missed a little bit there. But there you go. There's a graph of our parabola given by the equation f of x equals x squared minus 4x minus 7. So the whole point to this, and what you'll be doing for homework, is when you cannot solve for 0, meaning find the x-intercepts by factoring or by a simple algebraic manipulation, then if you put it into vertex form, you can. That's it.